Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I'm your host, Josh Davis, also known as Crash. Today is Friday, January 6, 2023, and I am joined today by the one and only Mrs. Deb Lutz. Deb, how are you doing on this TGIF Friday?
Yeah, I'm doing great. TGIF is right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the weekend. It was a short week, but that first week in January always just seems like so long.
Yeah. You know, the DeMar Hamlin situation has really made my week, just to see how things have turned and gotten so much better, and to hear how he FaceTimed his teammates today. I mean, that's just some really awesome things to hear.
It's really just such a great, heartwarming story at this point that
It really is.
how he's gone through it and how much money's been raised for his charity. And I couldn't believe the first words out of his mouth when he first woke up, right?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it's going to make for very interesting, scenarios now with the games, of course. But
for sure, it's just like, as bad as this week started and everything, to finish it that way, it's just, I couldn't ask for a better ending. So
yeah, cool.
But anyway, so we've got a
So
nice.
let's end things end off for our fans as well on the DFS front, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a nice 11-game slate. Before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, if you would hit the like button and then hit subscribe. After you've done those two things, if you'll hit the alarm bell, that will let you know when our newest podcast is going live. If you haven't joined DFS Coach Talk yet, please join us at dfscoachtalk.com. We have memberships that start as low as $9 a week. And we are going to be announcing next week our NFL playoff promo. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. So, all right, Deb, let's go ahead and get into this thing. The first game we've got tonight is going to be the Portland Trailblazers at the Indiana Pacers. Is this the highest over under? It's one of the highest.
One of the highest, yeah.
237.
The Laker game, I think, is the.
Yeah, the Lakers and the Hawks is the highest at 242.5. This game is the second highest, though, so it's 237. Pacers are favored by 2. Injury news, we've got, looks like Yusuf Nurkic will play. Jeremy Grant and Gary Payton II are questionable. Nasir Little and Justice Winslow are out for Portland. And then for the Pacers, looks like Kendall Brown is probable. No, he's going to be out. Okay, he's out. Yeah. And then Daniel Theis is out. So projected starting lineup for the Blazers, you've got Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, and then Jeremy Grant, who's questionable, and then Yusuf Nurkic. And then for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Buddy Hield, Aaron Naismith, and Miles Turner. So this first game on this slate, for me, I like Josh Hart. The Pacers have allowed the fourth most fantasy points to small forwards, and he had 38.4 DraftKings points per game his last 3 games against the Pacers. So he's been putting up decent numbers. And if Jeremy Grant's out, then Trendon Watford's going to be a value play that I'm looking at. On the Pacers side, Miles Turner, he is 6,700 on DraftKings, 7,500 on FanDuel, $27 on Yahoo. The Blazers have allowed the 6th most fantasy points to centers. He had 37.8 DraftKings points against them on December 4th. And then Buddy Hield, I like as well. He had 46.8 DraftKings points against the Blazers on December 4th. So besides those guys that I mentioned, anyone else that you like from this game?
Yeah, I also like Nembhard. I think he's a good value tonight. So I think you're going to need a couple of value guys in your lineup, and I like him against Portland. I agree with you on the Hart play. I like him a lot, and if Grant sits, I'm all over him because he's going to have higher usage than he normally does.
Definitely. The next game is also at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers are favored by 4.5. It has a 231.5 over under for the Bulls. Looks like Alex Caruso and Javonte Green are both leaning towards being out. And of course, Lonzo Ball is out. For the Sixers, the big news with them is that Joel Embiid is still out. Projected starting lineup for Chicago, you have Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. For the 76ers, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias Harris, and PJ Tucker. So I know the other day I got absolutely burned by that Paul Reed play. I will not be going back to him.
Yeah.
But I do think that
Harold had like a, best game of the year, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that Harold's a bad play. I'm probably not going to say he's a must play, but I think he's still a decent play with Joel Embiid out. I think the guards are my favorite plays on the Sixers. Of course, James Harden. I think Tyrese Maxey's a really good play. And then I also like Tobias Harris. The Bulls have allowed the most fantasy points to power forwards this year, so I think he's in a pretty good spot. And then without Embiid in there, I think Vucevic is also in a good spot. So besides those, who do you like in this game?
Nope, you read my mind exactly. Like player for player, that's exactly for me. I will definitely be playing one of either Harden or Maxey, and I'm just trying to decide based on lineup construction which one. Obviously, obviously a Harden's a lot more expensive. Maxey could be a nice surprise. He did play 36 minutes last game, so I think he's fully back. I think he's going to play a lot. And maybe even a little bit higher upside potential, just given the better pricing that he's at. So
yeah. So you like Harold as well, then, or no?
No, Harold. Yeah, I mean Harold's. Funny. His ownership is low. I think he'll be good. He's not who I'm looking at. I think there's a couple of other centers that I'm eyeing more. I think on DK with the 2 center option, I think you can play him. But otherwise, he wouldn't be my top choice at center.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I think he's probably going to get over-owned. So
yeah.
The next game we have the Brooklyn Nets and the New Orleans Pelicans. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Has a 231 over/under. Brooklyn's favored by 4. Looks like TJ Warren is the only injured player on the injury report. Only player on the injury report for the Nets. He's questionable. And then for the Pelicans, of course, Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson are still out. Larry Nance Jr. is questionable. EJ Liddell is out, and looks like Hernan Gomez is questionable as well. So the projected starting lineups here for the Nets: Kyrie Irving, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton. For the Pelicans, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herbert Jones, Najee Marshall, and Jonas Valanciunas. So for me in this game, not a whole lot that I'm liking. Probably the top player from each team with Durant and McCollum, and that's probably about it. I'm not really too crazy about this one.
I like this game a lot. I think it's going to be high scoring. Yeah, I think it's going to be high scoring, and I like where some of the ownership's projected. So in particular, you've got Kyrie Irving at less than 4% on both sites.
Okay.
He seems really solid. McCollum's not a great defender. I think he's going to actually do a little better than Durant tonight, who will probably be getting Herbert Jones defense. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. And so the ownership is surprisingly low in my mind. So I may be off base because you seem to be, forecasting it the same way that others are. But I've got Ben Simmons at less than 1% ownership, and he's only he's only 5,600 on DraftKings. So those are probably my 2 favorite plays. I also don't mind Nicholas Claxton. I think Valanciunas is going to have a hard time against Claxton, and he's 5,900 on DraftKings, which I think that's a real attractive price at 3% ownership. So that's why I like those 3 guys from Brooklyn. And then on the New Orleans side, I mean, you got anytime that Zion is out along with Brandon Ingram, McCollum, it just goes bonkers. And again, on the from an offensive standpoint, unless they're going to have Royce O'Neal guard him, which they probably won't, it'll probably be Kyrie. I think McCollum can do really well. So he's a little higher ownership. He's the highest owned on DK. Actually, sorry, Najee Marshall is, and then he's 3rd highest owned, 17% on FanDuel. So a little bit highly owned. He's not a must-have for me. I will go with one of these value guys. You know, Najee Marshall's ownership is just way too high. I'm waiting to hear the news on Nance. If Nance is playing, I'm going to plug in Nance, who, again, less than 1% ownership and 4,600 is really attractive to me. If Nance is out, I'm definitely going to be playing Jackson Hayes, who, again, he's 3,700 on DK and 0.1% ownership. So I'm going to be going there instead of Valenciunas, looking for a little value.
Okay, so that's if Nance is out, then you're going to look at Jackson Hayes.
Right.
Okay. Before I forget, let's go ahead and get everyone to vote in the chat. Do you want to have a DraftKings Two Brains Core, a FanDuel GPP, or a Yahoo GPP at the end of the show? All right. So the next game is going to be the New York Knicks and the Toronto Raptors at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Has the lowest over/under on the slate. Toronto's favored by 3.5. RJ Barrett is out for the Knicks. Toronto Raptors, Otto Porter Jr. is out. The starting lineup for the Knicks is Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. For the Raptors, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam. I know this game has a low over/under. Is there anyone that you like in this matchup? Because there has been some in recent matchups, some pretty good DFS points in this matchup.
Yeah, I know. That's and maybe you can go through that. I did see that. I didn't write it down, but there are a couple of guys. Also, again, I'm in the GPP seat and just looking at ownership. Pascal Siakam on DraftKings is 0.5% ownership. I don't think he's ever been 0.5% ownership. So he's of interest to me, as is Gary Trent, who's playing great. He scores a lot. He's 5,800 on DraftKings. I think that's a pretty nice value. On FanDuel, Siakam on FanDuel he has got higher ownership at 6%. He's only 9,600. He hasn't been down below 10K in weeks.
Yeah.
So those are the two guys that I'm interested in. A little less excited on the Knicks side of things. I think they're fairly priced on the Knicks side, and I respect Toronto's defense. So I'm probably looking at one of those two plays on Toronto.
Yeah, one of the guys that you didn't mention was, for me, Fred VanVleet on DraftKings at 7,400 and Yahoo at 31. I like him. He hasn't scored less than 44 fantasy points his last 6 times he's faced the Knicks. He's 8,500 on FanDuel, though, so I think there's a little overpriced over there. But I do like him on DraftKings and Yahoo. So that would be the only other play that I would add in, because I do agree. Siakam had 76 DraftKings points against the Knicks 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So this is a matchup that he absolutely dominated. Now, I will say I do think that either Trent or Barnes or VanVleet or one of those guys was out that game. So that made a difference with the usage, but still, that's a huge number.
The big thing about Toronto, both these teams, frankly, is their coaches play them a ton of minutes. Just a ton. So you're looking at, probably versus any other game, you're looking at off the bat 10% higher, just because they're playing 10% more minutes than anyone else.
Yeah.
So it is a lower total, but it's going to be more condensed to a much smaller lineup.
Yeah, I agree. And then Julius Randle, I've talked about him a lot lately. He's just been playing out of his mind. I don't know if he's going to keep it up or not, but he's been scoring 60 regularly. So you can definitely keep an eye on him too. The next game, Charlotte Hornets at my Milwaukee Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee is favored by 10. Seems a little bit high to me, but 232 over under. For the Hornets, Gordon Hayward looks like he's leaning towards being out. It's got game time decision. No, he's been downgraded to out. So he is out. And Kelly Oubre Jr. is out as well. So yeah, that makes a little bit more sense why the Hornets are favored or underdogs by 10. Drew Holiday is back for the Bucks. MarJon Beauchamp is questionable. Looks like Giannis is probable. And George Hill is also probable. I was just trying to see what the status said there. And then, like I said, Holiday's back. And then Beauchamp, he's probable as well. So all those guys should play. It looks like only Middleton and maybe I don't know about Joe Ingles if he's going to be in the lineup, but Middleton won't be playing for sure. So projected starting lineup.
Are you playing Giannis? That's the big question. Are you playing Giannis?
Yes, I am. LaMelo Ball, Rozier, McDaniels, Washington, Plumlee for the Hornets, for the Bucks, Holiday, Allen, Connaughton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. So the main guy that's actually done the most damage against the Bucks has been Terry Rozier. 6,900 on DraftKings, 6,500 on FanDuel, and $25 on Yahoo. LaMelo Ball has been held below. He's 37.5 DraftKings points his last 3 games against the Bucks. So for his price, you're definitely not going to get your value if he's only giving you, 35 to 40 fantasy points. He's like 9K or something, I believe. So you're going to need more than that. Now with Giannis, obviously you can fade him because he's so expensive. He's $12,000 on both DraftKings and FanDuel, $56 on Yahoo. He has scored 60 plus in 7 of his last 8 games against the Hornets, and he's gone over 70 in 3 of those. So he's definitely been putting up some nice numbers up against the Charlotte Hornets. And then, of course, as we always do, I'm attacking the center position here with Brook Lopez, who's been playing really well anyway. 6,000 on DraftKings, 6,700 on FanDuel, and $25 on Yahoo. So I'm curious to see what you think about this game, Deb.
Yeah, I game scripted it similarly. I've got Lopez and Giannis. I can't decide whether or not I want to. I mean, I know Giannis is going to have a great game. Hard to not put him.
That's the only thing. If it doesn't stay close enough, then he's not going to have it.
That's the thing. So can Giannis get me 60 points in 30 minutes? He probably can. He probably can, but right, exactly. But then you've got Giannis and Brook Lopez not playing a lot of minutes. So it's like, do you go to Portis maybe? I feel like I'm over strategizing this game a little bit because I do think it could blow out. I mean, particularly you're missing Oubre, you're missing Hayward. LaMelo Ball does not play particularly well against this team, as you've mentioned. So hard to rely on Rozier and McDaniels, particularly when you've got Holiday back and his defense. So so I'm definitely struggling with this one a little bit. I can't quite decide between Lopez, Giannis, Portis, and Rozier. I don't want to play too many of them because of the blowout potential, and I can't quite decide who to play.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to, am I going to play Giannis or am I going to play LeBron? Because those two are pretty much the main pay-up guys in my opinion. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Where's usage on those two guys? Because that's a good way to look at it because for me, I forecasted LeBron to do sort of better on a points per dollar standpoint, but
well, he had 76 last Friday against the Hawks. So
yeah, exactly. So LeBron's at 15% usage, and Giannis is at 14.4 on DraftKings. So that's pretty much up. Yeah. And Giannis is 13.7, and let's see what LeBron is.
They just updated that, Deb.
Yeah.
They just updated it. So now LeBron is 17.3 and Giannis is 10.4.
Really? On DraftKings?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. LeBron's
and what about FanDuel?
On FanDuel, LeBron is at I haven't even found him yet. What in the world? 6.5.
There you go.
And Giannis is at 10.5. So that's interesting.
LeBron's at 11.2, and he's approaching Giannis in price. So in which case, I can understand that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And then on Yahoo, he's 23.2% LeBron, and then 11.8 for Giannis. And then
Wow.
James Harden is kind of in between 16.4. So, I mean, to me, it's between Giannis and LeBron. I guess you could probably throw Harden into that equation a little bit because he's out.
Sure.
But the Bulls have some pretty good defense against guards too. So
yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
The next game's probably going to be the least watched game of the night. Detroit Pistons and the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are lined up to watch this one.
No, particularly without Cade Cunningham and without Vassell. I mean, you got like arguably your top two guys.
Exactly. So it has a 236 over under though, which is interesting, but the Spurs just don't play.
Good DFS game.
Yeah. So San Antonio is only favored by 1.5, so it could be a pretty decent game, I guess. Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Livers are out for Detroit, and then as you mentioned, Vassell's out for the Spurs. Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren for the Pistons, Trey Jones, Romeo Langford, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Jakob Poeltl for the Spurs. So, yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time fading Keldon Johnson tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be hard to fade him. I actually like Poeltl more than him, though, honestly. But he scored 40-plus against the Pistons in 3 of the last 4 times he's faced them. So he's had some good numbers against them. And Keldon Johnson, I mean, let me see. He's way up there. 35% highest projected owned on Yahoo. 35% second highest projected owned on FanDuel. And 27.9 second highest projected on DraftKings. So just
all right. So what's the chat saying? Eat the chalk? I think this is chalk I may have to eat. It's just, I mean, how do
it could be. I mean,
usage is going to be through the roof. I mean, I like Poeltl, but I don't know. Duren's pretty good on defense, and Poeltl just doesn't get that high a usage.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know, in terms of who they're starting. Let's see, who are they? I mean, Sochan's been playing well, so he could get a little bit of bump. But again, he's also not although actually his last 2 games he hasn't played well. And his usage isn't real high either. I mean, it's usually split between like 25-25 between Johnson and Vassell. So
I mean, I think Johnson is. He's going to definitely
monster. Yeah. So, and it's against Bogdanovic. It's not against a strong defensive team. So I think I'm eating the chalk tonight.
Yeah. Do you like Bogdanovic on the other side?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Not really.
I just know that you like those.
I like Hayes and Duren.
Faster pace, not a lot of great defense games for Bogdanovic usually. So that's why I was wondering if you liked it.
Oh, did he do well with a faster pace? I thought he did well with a slower pace.
I think we talked about this, and I think you said that he was better in the faster paced games.
Was it faster?
I think so. All I know is whenever you said whether it was the slow or the fast, then
you're right. Fast.
Night,
I'm looking at it.
Well. Yeah.
All right.
So
well, then we should do it.
So I think he's the GPP option for sure. The Spurs have allowed the second most fantasy points to power forwards, which he's not really a power forward, but that's what they have him listed as. But anyway, he can pop out and shoot threes for sure. And then you said you like Duren as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like Duren too. I had Bogdanovic, Duren, Trey Jones. I like a little bit. Detroit's allowed the 5th most fantasy points to point guard, so I like him a little bit. And then Poeltl, and then everybody's on Johnson. So I'm gonna have to decide if I'm gonna play him or not. Probably in the single entries, I will. But I also really like Josh Hart, like we talked about. So
it's hard to.
Yeah.
I think there's more upside. So again, I think for cash, Hart's a nice play. It's just upside with Johnson, but I do like Killian Hayes also.
Killian Hayes, I
do like him as well. Actually, I'm pretty high on him. He's only 5,500 on DraftKings.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all. This next game is a complete fade for me. I just don't trust the Thunder. The way they've been playing lately, they could get blown out or they could blow out Washington. I mean, they just blew out Boston. So I feel like there's no way of knowing what they're going to do. And they didn't have SGA in that game when they blew out Boston too?
That's correct. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then Boston goes out and blows out Dallas last night. So it's just crazy. So this game I'm not really touching. I don't have a very good feel about it at all, which way it's going to go. Is there anyone in this game
I mean, for me, it's a 1 point spread and a decent, over 230 over under. I'm not real high on this game, but there are a couple of plays. I mean, I think that, on the Washington side, with Beal out, I think Porzingis and Kuzma, their usage goes way up. And Kuzma's got Dort defense, so I'm not interested there. But Porzingis and the way he plays, I mean, I think you've got real trouble in the OKC front court. You might even take a shot at Gafford, frankly. So, Gafford, if you want to go inexpensive, Porzingis, if you're looking to pivot to a different, take a look at a different lineup that maybe you're not getting those 11, 12K guys, but instead you're getting a couple of 8 to 9K guys. And then I like, what's Giddey's price? Giddey's been playing really well.
Yeah, he has. On which site? Because I'll look at DraftKings. He's 68. FanDuel, I think he's in the 7s. I want to say.
Yeah, 73. That's a little high. 6,800 is pretty good. I'll tell you, there are a lot of guys in that 6,500 to 7K price range that are attractive tonight. So, I have not done my final lineups. I may be going more rather than stars and scrubs. Maybe going with a little more of a balanced approach.
Okay, yeah. That was the way to go last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams, I think, would probably be the one guy I like on Oklahoma City. Rui Hachimura has been playing pretty well lately. I think the Daniel Gafford play could be pretty good. What is his I bet he's not getting much ownership. Well, 10.2 on DraftKings. He's at 4,600 for Gafford.
Yeah, he's good for 30 tonight, I think. So that's a nice play.
Yeah, and then only 13 on Yahoo. He's 27.4% projected owned on Yahoo, so he's getting a lot of ownership over there.
Yeah,
that could be a nice little GPP call on the other two sites. All right, so the next game is at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Denver Nuggets. Denver's favored by 5.5. The 221 over under. Donovan Mitchell's out for the Cavs, and then Ricky Rubio, Dean Wade, Dylan Windler, Darius Garland is questionable, but he did participate in the shoot-around, so I think he'll play. Jamal Murray is probable. Connor Gillespie, Jeff Green, and PJ Watson are out. So the projected starting lineup for the Cavs: Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and then for the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. Kind of feel the same way about this game a little bit. There's a couple plays that I like on the Cleveland side in Garland and LeVert, but the Cavs are really good against point guards and centers. And so outside of that, I'm not really sure where I would want to go on Denver.
Yeah. I'm, I don't love this game. I think that, the Denver played last night, but they blew them out. And so starters played very low minutes. So I think Murray does play. I think Murray's got a shot to really smash his number, particularly on DraftKings, where he is only 7K. It's pretty low.
That is pretty low.
But, on the Cleveland side, I mean, you could argue, keep going with LeVert. He's really, he's got a lot of usage with Mitchell sitting. But I just don't trust him tonight. I don't know. I don't know. His prices come up. He's close to 6K now. And, Denver's got a good team D, and I don't know. I don't love this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I totally get that. He's getting a decent amount of ownership, about 10% on DraftKings, only 2% on FanDuel, 3.4 on Yahoo. So Karis LeVert's ownership's definitely down. And then Garland, I mean, I don't know. Like, he does definitely have more potential with Donovan Mitchell out, but I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about this game either. So I guess we'll move on. Los Angeles Clippers, Minnesota Timberwolves, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Timberwolves are favored by 4.5. It has a 224.5 over/under. For the Clippers, both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are questionable, so that's going to be the big news here. Batum is out. Jordan McLaughlin looks like he is probable, I think. No, he's out. Yeah, he's out. And then Bryn Forbes and Naz Reid are both questionable. And, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns is still out. So the projected starting lineup for the Clippers, Reggie Jackson, and then George and Leonard are questionable. Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac, Russell Edwards, McDaniels, Anderson, and Gobert for the Timberwolves. Again, this game, not a whole lot that I like about it at all, especially without the news. It's a fade for me right now.
Yeah, I know. It's for me. If we can get the news ahead of time, unfortunately, it is a 9 p.m. start, so we may not. The only play for me really is that.
Powell.
What's that?
Your boy Norman Powell.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you, if George and Leonard sit, I will go with Powell.
Yeah.
4,800. I mean, unreal. Who's going to score on that team? But then the other guy I'm kind of interested in, because I think he's mispriced, is Zubac on DK. He's only $5K.
Oh wow, yeah, that is cheap.
So I think he's over $6K on FanDuel. Let's see, on FanDuel he is, he's 6,400 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So I think there's something there.
18 on Yahoo. So
he's been having a good year.
Yeah, he has. And a lot of people will be scared to play him because of Rudy Gobert too. So it could be a nice little GPP play.
Yeah.
He's not going to get much ownership at all. Most people are going to be playing Bryant, I think. So
yeah, I think that's a lot. Yeah, exactly. So just kind of GPP play.
Yeah, but like I said, until we get the news, I just really don't have any kind of feeling about this game at all, because I
mean, I was tempted to go with Edwards again because his usage is just so high right now without Karl-Anthony Towns in there. But I just don't trust that he's going to smash it at 8,800. So
right, especially if Kawhi and Paul George are both out.
Yeah,
I mean that game could get way out of hand. So.
Right. Exactly.
All right. The next game, your Phoenix Suns are hosting the Miami Heat.
And I will be there.
Oh, you're going to be there. Okay, awesome.
It's a game.
Wow, 213 over/under. I didn't realize it was. But I still think it'll be a decent game. I mean, I know you guys don't have Devin Booker, so that sucks. But they have a lot of guys out for the Heat too. It looks like Tyler Hero's probably not going to play, so their starting lineup is probably going to be Lowry, maybe Gabe Vincent, I'm guessing, or Oladipo, probably Oladipo
maybe. Yeah,
Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and then the Suns, Paul Shamet, Bridges, Saric, and Ayton. So another game I don't have a great feeling about. There's some value here, I think, with Oladipo and Shamet, probably the two plays that I would look at on this game. Anything else that stands out to you?
Yeah, I'm not real high on this game either. I mean, it'll be a fun one to watch, but although maybe not because I'm nervous that Phoenix is. I'm shocked that Miami's only favored by 1.5 with Butler and Adebayo playing. But I think I think Adebayo plays pretty well against Ayton. And, Chris Paul, has been carrying the team, but against the Miami defense, I don't love Paul. So possibly Bridges for me. He might be the one guy. They really need him to play in a big way. So possibly Bridges, and I'm probably not gonna. I can't go against my team tonight. So I probably will not pick either Butler or Adebayo, but Butler's in a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
Yeah. So, but I can't do it.
Yeah. I didn't really get to see many of their games while Booker was out before, but it seemed like Shamet played really well. Do you think that this is another good spot, or you don't like this spot for him?
Shamet was crap last year. Just horrible. This year he's dependent on scoring. If he's hitting his threes, he might be okay. But he's a pretty low points per minute guy, probably around 0.8 or something like that. And so I think there's better value out there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an 11-game slate. Maybe if we had like a 4-game slate or something like last night, you could look at it.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on to the last game, the game of the night. Atlanta Hawks and Los Angeles Lakers, at least on paper, looks like the game of the night. 242.5 over under from a DFS perspective. Definitely one of the featured games. 2.5 Atlanta's favored by. I thought the Lakers won last time they played, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting that Atlanta's favored by 2.5. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Onyeka Okongwu are starting for the Hawks. For the Lakers, Schroeder, Beverly, Juan Toscano-Anderson is projected to start.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, LeBron and Bryant. So, I think LeBron and Bryant are going to be the two of the highest owned players on the slate. So obviously you can look at them. I like Okongwu, though, on the Hawks side. Had a decent game with 36 fantasy points against the Lakers last Friday. So those are the three that I'm looking at in this game. Anyone else that you like?
Yeah, you got to go with someone from Atlanta's backcourt, either Trae or Murray. If Murray's going to get Beverly defense, I would go with Trae Young. I just think, the Lakers backcourt is not great. And I think Trae Young runs circles. It's in LA, loves showboating in big cities. So I do like Trae Young tonight, and agree with you on the other guys. The only other guy I'd add to consideration, and let's take a look at where his ownership is. Pull up DK.
You want to hear something crazy about that game, Deb?
What?
They had the exact same fantasy score. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray both had exactly 44.8 fantasy.
In the last game?
Yeah.
Is that right?
The exact same. So what are the odds of that?
Oh my gosh, seriously. All right, so Kendrick Nunn, 3,100 on DK, 0.2% ownership. On FanDuel, he is he's running at so much higher at $4,000 and 0.1% ownership. I am going to have some Kendrick Nunn, particularly in DK, in my lineup tonight. He's a tremendous points per minute guy. They've lost both Reeves and Walker and Troy Brown. So they absolutely have nobody else to play point shooting and small forward other than Max Christie, who is not a great points per minute guy. They're starting Juan Toscano-Anderson, for goodness sake. So I think Nunn gets, in this case, I think he gets over 20 minutes, which he hadn't been doing. And I think he's good for 20 to 25 fantasy points, which will smash value at 3K and the little girl for tonight.
Yeah, I like Kendrick Nunn too. I was looking at him earlier. As you mentioned, he's not really getting any ownership, which is surprising to me. At 3,100 on DraftKings, that's just too cheap. So yeah, I like the Kendrick Nunn play.
Cool.
Did you have anyone for PrizePicks?
Nope. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I've got a couple. I like Fred VanVleet, more than 36.5 fantasy score. I talked about how he scored 44 or more in his last, I think it's 6 games against the Knicks. And then Brook Lopez, more than 29.5 fantasy score. He's been averaging like 40 lately. He's just really been playing really well, and it's against the Hornets. So I like that one. And I'll go ahead and add one last one, and I'll say that Giannis gets, again, he gets over 60, over 61.5 fantasy score. So
okay.
what did everybody vote? I asked everybody to vote. We got Yahoo, FanDuel.
Looks like
DK.
Yeah. Got it. All right. So
we got one of each, basically. Yeah. Next person to vote in the chat's going to get the swaying vote here.
I actually see 2 FanDuels and 1 Yahoo.
Okay, David Duloc said Yahoo again.
He voted twice.
Yeah. I think we did FanDuel last time, so let's just go ahead and do Yahoo. I'm fine with it. All right.
Pull it up here. I have spent the least amount of time on Yahoo, so let's give this a whirl. All right, I'm going to start things off. That's all right. I'm going to start things off with Maxey, point guard.
Point guard. All right. I'll take Lopez at center.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Keldon Johnson, small forward.
I'll take who we were just talking about. Kendrick Nunn, shooting guard.
Okay. I'm going to go to utility and pick Siakam.
I was literally thinking that myself.
Yeah,
that's
nice. That's awesome.
Yep. All right. Take Hart at forward.
Nice. I'm going to go with I'm going with Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
That's guard. That leaves us 17.
Did you say that Marshall was going to be overowned? I was thinking you said that.
Yeah, I think you will, but let's see. Who else do we have in there? I could always switch my pick if
No, I think I can make this work.
Okay. He will, but he's also pretty cheap at 17. I mean, if he's starting.
I wish Siakam was a power forward so I could move.
Yeah.
I think George and Leonard, one or two of those, maybe even both, will be out. I'm going to go with Marcus Morris.
Okay.
Shout out to Coach.
All right. So you'll post that one and I'll do a separate GPP for Yahoo?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll do the single entry for Yahoo. And then, of course, we'll do like we always do on the other two. So,
exactly.
All right, guys. Well, hope everyone enjoyed the show. We'll be back again, I think, tomorrow. I'll be back, or maybe Coach will be back. We'll have to see who volunteers to do the Saturday slate. It's usually a smaller slate, so we all kind of fight over it. But anyway, Hope everybody has a great Friday night. Let's absolutely crush it. And we'll be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and PrizePicks. Thank you.